This episode of Disney Coast to Coast is brought to you by You Can Podcast Now. If you're a podcast listener, there's a pretty good chance you've thought about starting your own podcast. And me? I say go for it. It's certainly been a good thing for me, but perhaps you're not quite sure how to get started. Just head to youcanpodcastnow.net to receive your free ebook sharing with you reasons to create your podcast, the power of podcasting, how podcasting can be used, inspirations for your podcast, the do's and don'ts, and more. So head to youcanpodcastnow.net for your free ebook today. Now on with the show.
Is your magic meter running low? Well, we've got a cure for you. Welcome to Disney Coast to Coast.
Hey folks, and welcome to Disney Coast to Coast, the ultimate unofficial Disney fan podcast. I'm Jeff DePauli, and in today's House of Mouse headlines, we have opening dates for the much-awaited Rise of the Resistance attractions from coast to coast, plus a beloved show will soon be leaving Disney California Adventure. That and so much more, so let's get to it.
Hear the latest news from the Walt Disney Company in today's House of Mouse headlines.
Let's start over in Epcot at Walt Disney World, where a bunch of news has been announced. As you're most likely aware, Epcot will be going through some major changes over the next couple of years, so step one is closing some areas to make way for construction. Here's what Disney has had to say about several different areas. As part of the ongoing transformation of Epcot, Innoventions East, Colortopia, and Nanu's Break, which I've never heard of, are scheduled to close on September 8th, 2019. The final date of operation for this area will be September 7th. Club Cool will be closed on September 8th, but not to worry, elements will be incorporated into the new offerings as part of Epcot's evolution. I'm happy to hear that it sounds like the Beverly Challenge will live on. The Camera Center will close and return early next year. As part of the exciting transformation of Epcot, Electric Umbrella is scheduled to close this winter. New dining options will be available in the future, featuring a variety of food and beverage selections. During the exciting transformation of Epcot, Meet Disney Pals at the Epcot Character Spot will temporarily close, beginning on September 8th, 2019. Enjoy meeting some of your favorite Disney characters at other locations throughout Epcot. As part of the ongoing transformation of Epcot, Mouse Gear will move to a temporary home this winter while its current location is reimagined. There are also rumors that the Fountain of Nations will be going away, but I haven't heard any official statements about that one from Disney. So obviously there's a lot going on at Epcot. Some of it is getting temporary new locations, some of it will be missing for a while, and some of it will be gone forever. The Leave a Legacy stones at the entrance to the park have already been removed. So for now, the future of Future World is a lot of construction. The ride we've all been waiting for finally has an opening date, and the details were a bit surprising. At least to me they were. Star Wars Rise of the Resistance will be opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios on December 5th, 2019, and at Disneyland Park on January 17th, 2020. I think most people were probably expecting Disneyland's to open first, considering that Galaxy's Edge opened several months sooner and is supposedly further along in the construction process, but maybe they're not further along. I'm not sure the official reason for these opening dates, but I have three theories. The first is simply that Walt Disney Worlds will be completed first. The second is that maybe they're opening Walt Disney Worlds first due to complaints that Disneyland's Galaxy's Edge opened so much further in advance. I personally feel like this third theory may have a lot to do with it. From what I've heard, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway will most likely be getting a spring opening, but will be ready long before that. I don't think they want to open Rise of the Resistance and Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway too close together, so they're opening Rise as soon as possible to give a larger time gap. Let's face it, Disney parks don't need to do much to encourage large crowds to visit in December during the holiday season, so whatever the reason may be, Rise of the Resistance will be opening first in Walt Disney World, followed by Disneyland. Now let's fly over to the Disneyland Resort, where we got the sad news that the red Car Trolley Newsboys will be ending their daily performances. The final performance of the show will be on July 23rd. If you know my taste at all, I'm sure it'll come as no surprise to you that I'm very sad about this news. I love Newsies, and therefore I love the red Car Trolley Newsboys. It's always a good day when you hear Seize the Day ringing through the Disney parks. The Newsboys show has been in Disney California Adventure since 2012, and now it's time for them to pack pack up their suitcase and a dream. Since the major construction has begun for the new Marvel-themed land, the red car trolley hasn't been running. It's a bit difficult to do a red Car Trolley Newsboys show without the red car trolley, but they've been doing an abridged version of the show for the past several months. Is it as good as the original show? No, but I enjoy it. The fact that they're getting rid of the Newsboys makes me think that the red car trolley may not be returning, at least not in the way we're used to seeing it. But who knows? I'm sad that the show is leaving, but I'm even more sad that it's leaving as an abridged version. The real red car trolley Newsboys show ended months ago, and we didn't even know it at the time. This has been part of the budget cuts happening around the Disneyland Resort due to low park summer attendance. Perhaps they've finally hit that price threshold where guests are no longer willing to pay the asking price. In addition to the Newsboys getting cut, the size of the brand new Lion King show cast at DCA has become smaller as well. It seems like it's always the live entertainment to get cut first. I'll tell you what, Disney, cancel the Main Street Electrical Parade return and keep the Newsboys and girl. I recently reported that Mickey's Soundsational Parade will be ending its run at Disneyland Park and that the Main Street Electrical Parade will be returning. But there's a bit of a gap between one closing and the other returning, so Disneyland Park will be presenting a short run of a character cavalcade. For a very limited time this summer, Mickey Mouse and his friends are joining the world-famous Disneyland Band for special performances of Mickey and Friends' Bandtastic Cavalcade. This delightful procession featuring live music and a host of favorite Disney characters takes place twice daily along the parade route at Disneyland Park. The march steps off in grand style, complete with colorfully adorned Main Street USA vehicles, and continues through the park with stops of special moments where guests can dance and clap along with their fantastic friends. Mickey and Minnie Mouse will be there along with Donald Duck, Goofy, Pluto, and a parade of rarely seen Disney characters. Some of the beloved Disney friends who could appear in the cavalcade from day to day may include Peter Pan and Captain Hook, Genie and Aladdin, King Louie, Turk, Marie, and more. You never know who you might see. Mickey and Friends' Bandtastic Cavalcade starts July 18th at Disneyland Park and only runs through August 1st, so go and check it out while you have the chance. To be honest, I'm more excited for this than I am the Main Street Electrical Parade. Okay, that's the last time I'll rag on the Main Street Electrical Parade. In this episode. The best day of the year will be here in just a few months. That's right, Halloween is nearly upon us. For the first time in nearly a decade, all guests visiting Disneyland will get to enjoy a version of the supernatural projection and special effects show Halloween Screams. This nighttime spectacular adds to the spooky fun on most nights of the season. This was very surprising but welcome news. I assumed since Mickey's Halloween Party left Disneyland Park and has now become the Oogie Boogie Bash over at Disney California Adventure, that the only Halloween nighttime spectacular available would simply be the Halloween World of Color over at DCA. For most years in the past, you could only see the Halloween fireworks at Disneyland if you had a ticket to Mickey's Halloween Party. It's nice to see that daytime guests will now get to enjoy the Halloween fireworks show. Last year on the night that I attended Mickey's Halloween Party, the fireworks were canceled, so I'm happy that I'll have another chance to see them this year. Let's stay with the theme of Halloween, but hop over to Disneyland Paris for a moment, where it has been announced that the villain of focus this Halloween season will be my favorite villain, Ursula. More details about how she'll be involved with the Halloween festivities will be announced at a later date. It's also been announced that Paris's Tower of Terror will be receiving random drops this Halloween season. 'Tis the season! If you're attending the D23 Expo at the Anaheim Convention Center in August, we recently got some news that you'll definitely want to know about. Expo badges will begin shipping to guests on August 5th. Once you receive your badge, it will be important to activate it online prior to arriving at the Expo. More information will be shared about how to activate your badge in the coming weeks, and specific instructions will be included with your badge. For the first time ever at D23 Expo, guests with activated badges will be able to make advance reservations online for shopping times at select Disney retailers using Store Pass, guaranteed entry to select sessions including performances in Hall D23 using Stage Pass, and reserved times to meet special luminaries and celebrities using the new Talent Pass. More information will soon follow about how advance reservations will work. I am really happy to see that they're trying some new strategies to make the Expo more enjoyable instead of just waiting in lines all day long. Hopefully, it'll work to some degree. Speaking of the D23 Expo, for the first time at D23 Expo, Lucasfilm will host a pavilion on the show floor with an impressive display showcasing the evolution of the Star Wars Stormtrooper. The exhibit will include several of the screen-used costumes seen throughout the iconic movie series. From the classic Stormtrooper to the new design featured in the upcoming Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, this stunning display is a rare opportunity to examine these production costumes up close and study the many unique styles deployed throughout a galaxy far, far away. Also featured in the Lucasfilm Pavilion will be a special section for young Padawans that will include Star Wars Galaxy of Adventures video shorts along with multiple interactive activities for kids. Now for some very sad and unexpected news. On July 6th, Disney Channel star Cameron Boyce died in his sleep after a seizure resulting from an ongoing medical condition. Cameron starred in the show Jessie on Disney Channel. I became aware of his work on Disney Channel's Descendants, where he played Cruella de Vil's teenage son Carlos. With all the sincerity in the world, he was truly my favorite part of Descendants, and the reason I tuned into the DComs. I always enjoy watching performers that work so hard at their skills that the final product just seems effortless. All of the work disappears, and Cameron Boyce had that quality that I admire so much. Even more than his work on Descendants, I always enjoyed when he hosted segments on the Disney holiday specials and other TV events like that. His hosting talents seem genuine and full of gratitude. His death is a huge loss to the Disney Channel community and is truly just a tragic story. Disney Channel released a statement saying, "We're proud to be a part of Cameron Boyce's legacy by showcasing his talents on screen, but we are canceling the red carpet premiere event for Descendants 3 scheduled for July 22nd, and instead the Walt Disney Company will make a donation to the Thirst Project, a philanthropic organization to which Cameron was deeply committed. With permission from the Boyce family, Disney Channel will dedicate the telecast of Descendants 3 in Cameron Boyce's memory." On a much lighter note, let's talk about the live-action Little Mermaid, where it's been announced that Halle Bailey, known for her work in Freeform's Grownish and as one half of the popular R&B singing duo Chloe and Halle, will be playing the latest rendition of Ariel. Director Rob Marshall had this to say in a statement. "After an extensive search, it was abundantly clear that Halle possesses that rare combination of spirit, youth, innocence, and substance, plus a glorious singing voice, all intrinsic qualities necessary to play this iconic role. Halle may be confirmed to play Ariel, but Melissa McCarthy is currently in talks with Disney to take on the iconic role of Ursula. The Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney animated movie, so seeing changes is always a bit difficult. But I've always felt that if you're going to remake something, there better be a good reason to do it. There's no sense making the same movie again, otherwise I'd just watch the original film. So I welcome any changes they make, but it doesn't mean that I'll like it more than the original. My guess is that when all is said and done, I'll feel very similarly as I did with the Broadway musical. It's nice to see these characters brought back to life, but nothing will top the original for me. But who knows, perhaps I'll be pleasantly surprised. And now let's talk about the live-action Mulan trailer that was recently released. I like what I'm seeing with this one because it looks so much different from the animated film. There seems to be a reason for them to be making this film. I think Mulan has a lot of potential as a dramatic film, and I hope that the final product feels like this trailer that we got. But to be honest, my guess is that the less Disneyfied version of the movie won't test so well with audiences, and that we'll see some familiar music and perhaps moments and characters work their way back into the film through reshoots. And before we go, I want to remind all of you that the reimagined Lion King hits theaters this upcoming Friday. Now let's get to this week's Twitter poll where I asked you folks. It was recently announced that the red Car Trolley Newsboys will soon be leaving Disney California Adventure. How do you feel about this decision? Your options were don't care, upset, glad it's not Five and Dime, or who are the Newsboys? In last place was Glad It's Not Five and Dime with 6% of the votes, followed by Who Are the Newsboys with 10% of the votes, and then in third place was Don't Care with 21% of the votes, and 63% of you are upset that the red Car Trolley Newsboys are leaving Disney California Adventure. You can include me in that 63%. Do you agree with the results of this Twitter poll? Make your voice heard by following Disney CTC on Twitter and taking part in the Twitter poll every week. That's DIZNEYCTC on Twitter. For all of our social media, you can head to DisneyCoastToCoast.com, and of course, if you are thinking of starting your own podcast, there is no better way to do it than through You Can Podcast Now. Head over to youcanpodcastnow.net as soon as this episode ends and get some free information all about podcasting. Now, this episode of Disney Coast to Coast was produced by Philip Elke, who has supported the show through Patreon. If you'd like to become a DCTC producer or gain other rewards, including early access to episodes, live stream Q&As, behind-the-scenes access, and more, information can be found at patreon.com/DisneyCTC. That's patreon.com/DIZNEYCTC. Other than that, folks, have a magical day. Bye!
Thanks for listening to Disney Coast to Coast. Have a magical day.
Disney Coast to Coast is produced and hosted by Jeff DePauli. Learn more about the podcast and become a supporter at DisneyCoastToCoast.com.